Good morning, everybody, and this is your DAX day trade setup for today. And another rejection of the 155 EMA on the daily time frame. So still no real signal here. And have a look at what happened yesterday. Big gap down, and then we recovered to close basically where we closed the day before. Is that bullish? Pretty much for me, very bullish. But looking at the weekly, have a look what's happening. This weekly level, 1500 should we say roughly, has well, not yet, but they're trying to defend it. So this is just a how do I put it? There's two things. So the first thing is learn from this, because when you see a bit of structure like this and you see a support level with lots of pin bars and lots of tails on it, it's relatively strong. So when you're looking for sort of a scalp to the downside to a big weekly level like this, the probability of it breaking through is very slim. It doesn't matter how strong the move is onto it. You can see on the 3 hour we had a strong move onto it, strong start of the move early in the week, and then we just bounced around. And big engulfing bar, I don't know what you want to call that, but I mean, you have a massive gap down and then the bar just comes straight in because it's off this level. It's a big strong weekly level, it's a sure bet trade, and off they go. So that's something that you really need to pay attention to, especially on the Dow and the DAX at the moment, because the area that the buyers are coming in off, they've been doing it for pretty much most of last year, and they're still doing it now. So the doom and gloom and everybody's screaming and shouting, markets are going to crash, inflation's going through the roof, and Feds are buying back, and Omicron version of the virus, and all the other noise. It's actually irrelevant. If you look at the charts, you can see where the buyers see value, and it is right there at 1500. So that to me is just an indication of we need to be very, very, very careful. Not saying it won't break down, but the probability of it breaking down is lower than the probability of it breaking up to come and test the top of the bigger range. And I just want to get that back in. Or at least the first part of that range is going to be right over there. Sorry, I'm just going to make it a little bit lower, because that gives you see there's support, there's resistance there, and then we didn't really do anything with it here. So that's the next real bit of structure, and then there's a small bit of structure in the middle here. But right now, big move, pullback onto the moving averages, crossover, rejection of 155. I'm of the opinion we are going to do this. So that's the move. That was the pullback. There's my measured move. Takes to there, look to the left. Lo and behold, there's even a gap up there that hasn't been closed, and there's the structure that I've just drawn in at 1600. So I suspect 1600 is the next level. We're more than likely going to get some kind of I don't think there'll be a gap up at the moment. So let me just double check that before you guys accuse me of lying. DAX futures at the moment is flat, so but the US futures are pretty strong. I think the Nasdaq, which is what's driving everything at the moment, is up 1%. So I suspect you're probably going to have a little bit of a gap up today, probably a small one, a pullback onto a bit of structure, and then a continuation to the upside. I think that's kind of what we're looking at, and I would advise you to do this all on the 15-minute. So just run through the logic here. You've broken through the moving averages. We came back. And remember, I'm only really looking for the retest of the 155, and look how long we spent at the 155 yesterday. So there's a little bit of structure right here where we closed at 15472. So that's the first area that I'd be paying attention to. So in other words, have a gap up, come back and close the gap, and then start looking for the structure. Your stop area is right here. This is the beauty about this setup right now. So your stop area is going to be below 15373. And your entry should be somewhere around 15472. And a couple of things. First level you're going to be looking for is 15625. But I'd actually go as far as saying Just wait for the oscillators firstly, get them to ease off in the 15 minute. jump in, stop over here. As soon as it's up, anticipate the retrace. It's going to come back to the retrace. Either take some of the position off, wait for the retrace. It should just come back and test this area here at 15,534. Shouldn't come all the way back down here, and more than likely will follow this trend line here. So you can adjust your stop sort of below this trend line, but I'd basically keep it below 15,373, and if we can get moving and get stop to entry, then it'll be a fairly decent trade to see if it continues the upside. Wouldn't want to hold it over the weekend though. Anything can happen over the weekend, and you can have a massive gap down or gap up, which gap up would help you, but the gap down would actually just hurt you. So that's kind of the view I've got on this. I think the DAX and the Dow are showing clear signs that the bulls are flexing their muscles, and if this weekly pin bar forms on the DAX and on the Dow, I suspect that's pretty much what's going to happen. Anyway, that's my view for today. Just keep it on the 15-minute chart. Pay very close attention to the levels I've given you. And if we do get the breaks, the upside, you can anticipate a move to 5,900 and then ultimately 1,600. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you next week. Cheers for now.